going on, everybody? It's the One Shot Killers podcast. I am your host, a hardcore icon, Brandon Scott Newton, with your co-host, the King of Bong Style, JoJo Valvano, featuring Willie Does Wrestling. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good brothers. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'm live. And thank you for having me, first off.
Thank you for joining us, good brother.
Thank you. You know, and I got it. Shouts out JoJo, man. He's the one who organized this. I was at work while y'all were talking today, and he texted me probably about 10 minutes before I went on break, and he goes, Willie's joining us live, WrestleMania 24. And I'm like, all right, gotcha. And I'm like, I've been wanting Willie on his podcast for a while because I've been seeing some of your posts on Twitter. I'm like, a fan who gets it, man. Like, really, you are so great when it comes to pro wrestling and your knowledge and love and passion for it. Like, that's somebody I want on this podcast because you have an extreme amount of love for this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't watched as long as most people. Actually, when JoJo said, well, we're doing WrestleMania 24, I was like, oh shit, I gotta go watch that because I haven't watched it at all before. But you know, for the current product, I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't really know. Like we said earlier, the Brock and Omos thing, and everyone's saying it's gonna be so fucking great and all that, and I'm like, no, it's not. But
yeah,
I love wrestling. It's great, and you know, it's one of my passions.
So when did you first start watching pro wrestling?
2016, right before the brand split, when John Cena and AJ Styles first feuded.
Oh, that was a great fucking feud, man. I actually just got to play a match from their SummerSlam 2016 match on the 2K Showcase. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, I started watching in 2003 at around WrestleMania 19 with Chris versus Shawn. That was the very first time I fell in love with this business, and I've been watching ever since. My pawpaw was a wrestler on the Independents in the 70s in Georgia, and then my mom and my dad grew up fans, and then I grew up a fan myself. And since I was a little kid, man, I'm 22 now. I started watching at 3. This is all I've ever loved, man. So I'm excited to talk with you about WrestleMania 24 because this is a pay-per-view I almost went to because I lived in Florida for 12 years from 2005 to, 10 years, 2005 to 2015. And WrestleMania 24 that year was in Orlando, and I was right down the road from the building. All the tickets had sold out. The scalper tickets had sold out. So we ended up going to my Aunt Tina's apartment, and we ended up watching the event from there. But JoJo would actually be in attendance for this event.
Yeah, man. I actually got a book from it when I was there.
Nice.
It has everything in it, bro. All the matches, like... I was up on the rafters, like the top. So, like, I wasn't close, but I was just, like, grateful enough to be there. Like, I didn't care. I could still see it. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, that's really all that matters is, like, you can feel the atmosphere. It's not like you really have to be near the ring to really, you know, enjoy
I was loud. I was going crazy up there anyways, bro. It didn't matter where I was. It was a late moment I actually got there because it was actually a Friday, literally 2 days before the pay-per-view when I got the tickets. So, like, I didn't expect to go, and then I just went literally 2 days before, and I was so happy.
But you know what's crazy? He was there. I was down the road. This is 2008. I wouldn't meet this man until 2011. And so that's the crazy thing. I ended up moving towns because I lived in Polk County in Lakeland, where I'd actually go to a live event later on. But I moved to Narcoossee, and me and JoJo went to the same middle school together. And around that time, CM Punk was the biggest guy on the roster. And every single day walking down the halls, we'd be talking about wrestling, or sometimes out of nowhere, we'd be like, best in the world!
I remember that.
God damn.
You know, and then now, see, that was about 2011. Here we are now, 2022. So to go back over everything, like, it's kind of crazy on that. So I hope you enjoyed this pay-per-view, though. You said first time watching. I want to get your thoughts on how you felt about this, because I grew up on it. I will always have that nostalgic feel. But for you, as a first time seeing this, how did that feel for you compared to today's product?
Well, the card was great. Even though there were like a few questionable ones, like I was sitting there and I was like, "What the fuck? Why the hell are Finley and JBL fighting?" Right? That was the first match. What else? Battle for brand supremacy: Umaga versus Batista. Those two I was questionable on, but then when the matches actually happened, I liked it. Like all the matches on this card were great. Besides the Playboy, whatever the fuck. But
thank you for saying it.
I skipped the Playboy, so don't expect me to talk about the Playboy. Gauntlet, whatever. Lumberjack.
The women's era was at that time, because we're not quite PG political like we are nowadays. At that time, you could get away with a lot more. And the divas were more sexualized based on instead of the wrestling ability. So you could be the best women's wrestler on earth and never get pushed. You could be the worst women's pro wrestler but be hot as hell and get a title shot.
For sure. And I think that was what really killed the women's division for actual wrestling fans. And you see the women of today be harassed online as much as they were. Imagine what it would be like if women were still like that, or if Twitter existed then.
Oh my God, it would be horrible. And my sister grew up a big fan of Lita, Trish Stratus, Gail Kim, and but when the women's division just got to a point of like, we're not even having but 2-minute matches, and the longest thing we're gonna get is a bikini contest, she stopped watching. She still to this day has fallen out of love with wrestling because of the treatment of women at the time.
I don't blame her.
It's crazy now because, about 2016, 2015, women's wrestling had really evolved, and now we're getting 10, 20-minute matches. Bayley versus Sasha's happening on NXT. And that's when she kind of piqued a little interest, but she's like, it's too late. Why didn't they have this when I was growing up? Now, I'm already grown up. I don't even know what's going on with the product. Everyone I liked is gone. What the fuck?
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. But I'm glad the women are treated a lot better now. But back on the overall card, like this card was stacked. All the matches really had decent time, besides Chavo Guerrero and Kane. But
yeah,
8
seconds.
Yeah, fucking that was the record I think before Rock and Rowan. But I loved it. I loved almost every second of it, and definitely one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen so far.
Oh, absolutely. And we're gonna get back to the first match. Start it big, break it down match by match. JBL versus Finley, and I want to say what's basically a hardcore match, and
Belfast
even fucking
Brawl, basically, yeah.
Belfast Brawl, yeah, that's what they called it.
Yeah, Belfast Brawl, and they beat the dog shit out of each other.
Holy
honestly,
fuck.
There was a few times with like the trash can shots, I thought his fucking neck got broke off of it.
He hurt freaking Hornswoggle, man. Smacked him in the head with it.
He threw something at him and boom, right at him.
Oh.
And see, like, that's so fucked up. Like, they just poor little fucking Hornswoggle didn't even see it coming. JBL just clocked his ass, and then fucking before Finley could do anything, his ass is getting clocked.
Yeah, it was like heel JBL, man, at his best at this time.
Basically 2-on-1, but Hornswoggle was doing jack shit. He was just standing there.
And it's kind of crazy, man. But I gotta admit, this match shouldn't have been as good as it was. But I actually thought it fucking kicked ass. And, And just them beating the dog shit out of each other. Like, you look at any other match on this card, like, they're great, but they're not as brutal as this first one. This first one, you can tell they were just clocking each other.
Yeah.
But fucking, I thought it was really good. JBL getting the victory, though, was actually surprising to me because this would be the start around WWE's PG era, don't be a bully, and yet you have the bully winning and beating essentially what's a child with a trash can.
Exactly, man. But like JBL's clothesline to Finley, bro, like JBL has some of the best clotheslines because when he clotheslines you, you're going like apart. You're gonna rip apart basically, and Finley's like that.
Man went
like,
limp. But
yeah,
all the weapons that they've used and everything was just great. But yeah, when I saw that it was 1-on-1 Finley and JBL, I was like, what the fuck is this? Even when they did the package where they explained why JBL was in this feud, I was like, oh, this isn't going about 5 minutes. And then they absolutely killed it, and I was sitting there like, I want more.
For real. I gotta give it to them.
And see, it's things like that I love, like where you expect the match to maybe not be so great, right? Because sometimes with WWE, AEW too, even sometimes the build up can be dog shit, but then the match be like really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And this is one of those instances for sure. But I actually really thought they killed it. And then getting into one of my favorite parts of this, I gotta get into a backstory on this. So before we get into the Money in the Bank, where CM Punk would win this, right? Yeah. Fucking Jeff Hardy was supposed to win, but Jeff Hardy would end up getting suspended for 30 days due to the wellness policy. If Jeff Hardy had never got suspended, Jeff Hardy would have won this Money in the Bank. But instead, we get CM Punk's first Money in the Bank.
That's fucking crazy.
We got to talk about the Mr. Kennedy promo, though, bro. When, what's her face? I forgot.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, her. She was like, it's now time for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then that's when Kennedy comes in. It's going to be the same guy who won it last year. Yeah.
Mr. Kennedy!
Wait for it.
Kennedy!
Love Mr. Kennedy, bro.
What I loved about this, bro, was fucking Kim Kardashian. You could tell she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Yeah.
And see, now look, I know a lot of people, JoJo's one of them, that hate celebrities and wrestling. I love it when celebrities, you can tell they're passionate about this, right? But Kim Kardashian didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. She was just there because she looked pretty. All right?
Yeah.
And so when people shit on Bad Bunny, like, to me, that's unfair. But, like, you know, in this instance, shitting on Kim Kardashian, I don't think is unfair because, once again, she was just there to be there.
It sounded like she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. She was sitting there with the microphone, and it is now time for the Money in the Bank ladder match where 7 superstars are going to climb a ladder. Like, you know, like, fuck off.
Are you reading a card? Reading
Reading
literally?
a teleprompter? Cameraman sitting there?
Like, it was so bad, bro. It was so bad.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. Those are the celebrities that I hate in pro wrestling. I can't stand that because when you're fake about this business, this is a business that, yes, it requires skill, it requires athleticism and charisma, but it requires passion. Yep. And you can see the passion. And fucking, if you don't give a fuck about this and you gotta be a fucking robot, essentially being like, so we're having Money in the Bank ladder match. There's gonna be 7 people. First one to climb it wins. Like, the fuck? Like, we've
Thanks
had ladder
for telling us.
years. I don't need you to explain it to me.
Not like we didn't know that. Not that there were like 2 or 3 other ones before this. We know what it is.
People. That's all I can say.
And, you know, and so that's like my one complaint there. But now getting into the actual Money in the Bank ladder match, this fucking kicked ass. And I'm going to say, even though Shelton Benjamin was the real star of the first few, to me, John Morrison was the star of this Money in the Bank ladder match.
Bro, when he did that backflip off the freaking top with the ladder on him, I literally marked out at the place. And when I watched it over.
And true, and I don't know if you fucking see it, Jericho fucking hitting the walls on top of the fucking ladder. That's a spot he hadn't done since 2001 with Chris Benoit.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Who would I say was the star of this? I would probably say either John Morrison or really Jericho. There were multiple times, like, if I were watching around this time, even though Chris was, I think, Intercontinental Champion at this point, I would have wanted Jericho to win. He would have been my favorite.
Me too.
Because, especially after his showing. And my one complaint with this was really that there were too many champions in this lineup. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But it was like, I felt like with this card, there were a lack of title matches. You know, you had U.S. Champion MVP, you had Intercontinental Champion Chris Jericho, and one half of the Tag Team Champions, John Morrison. But it's fine. But it was a great fucking lineup. But I just felt like that was my one complaint about the whole match.
This is what bothered me about Chris losing. So I'm more of a Jeff Hardy fan than I am a Jericho fan. And so if Jeff had never got suspended, one, he would have won anyways, and I would have loved that. But if looking at how the match actually played out, I would have had Chris win because Chris had just came back from being away from the WWE since 2005. He came in like November 2007. So this is his first Mania back. Probably what, Joe, since Mania 20 or 21?
I believe it was 21 because he was in the ladder match, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he was. So this was his first Mania back in 3 years. Fucking, you know, he took a break away from professional wrestling, and he was doing his Fozzy shit. And so, you know, there was a while nobody ever thought he was coming back because he said he was burnt out and didn't plan on coming back. So knowing that this was his first Mania back and everything, I would have had Chris win that Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah.
You know, another moment I liked was when Matt Hardy showed up from the crowd and did the twist of fate off the ladder to MVP.
Oh, that was sweet.
That was an awesome moment.
That was fucking
like
sweet.
That.
I would say that.
True. And
the whole place started going crazy, and I'm looking around like, who's coming through the crowd? And I'm up there, and I literally see Matt Hardy just running in the crowd.
And,
like, it was awesome, bro.
And see, that fucking kicked ass. And this crowd was so fucking alive for this match. It's like every spot had you hooked, man. Like, this is a match I couldn't take my eyes off. I still watch it, can't take my eyes off.
That one Shelton Benjamin spot where he was flipping, that place went electric.
And see, I hope when you get the time, man, you go back, watch WrestleMania 21, the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, then 22, 23, and even 24. Shelton Benjamin was the guy in those ladder matches.
I watched the 25 one, I think. Yeah, Benjamin was in that one. He was on the top of a ladder, and he went and cross-bodied literally everyone. Shelton Benjamin was
tall-ass ladder.
Like Kofi Kingston's the Royal Rumble highlight reel. Shelton Benjamin was the Money in the Bank one, for sure.
I agree.
And it really bothers me that Shelton never made it out of the mid-card. But if you spend some time in 2003, 2004, 5, Shelton was like, kind of like how Cody was in 2010. He was a great worker, or Seth Rollins now, a great worker, but never quite pushed to the main event. He's being in this mid-card scene when he should be up there. You know what I mean? And that's how I always felt about Shelton, except Shelton never even won the WWE title once. But Jinder Mahal wins the WWE title in 2016 after being a jobber for over 7-8 years.
That was such a bad time of SmackDown when he won that title.
I have I question to this day why they decided that was a good idea.
Oh, well, I can tell you why. So they were introducing the Indian market at the time, and now, mind you, Jinder Mahal is actually Canadian.
Yeah.
But he plays an Indian on TV, and so they wanted to introduce that market in India to cross over, just like they're doing with Saudi Arabia. And fucking, they wanted Jinder Mahal to be the face of that movement. Well, they didn't buy into it. We didn't buy into it, and it never went anywhere. So that's why we don't see, the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber in India. Instead, they go over to Saudi, and Saudi Arabia, their prince makes a deal with the WWE for over 10 years. After a U.S. reporter had just went missing in Saudi like a week before, Vince goes and sends his guys over, even though the president at the time told them not to.
Yeah,
it's all about with Vince.
It's all about the money, and I just stopped questioning why things like that happen, because Vince just doesn't give a fuck.
Oh God, no. And I mean, and as a character on TV, it would come across a lot, but sometimes it was funny as fuck. And as a guy there running a corporation, you got to be more mindful. These are people's lives you're playing with. You know what I mean? And if you're telling me a U.S. Reporter had just went missing in this country that we're about to spend millions of dollars flying to, catering, stay, and everything like that, hosting the event, I would almost say, no, look, when maybe things settle down, we'll go over there potentially, but I'm not going to risk my athletes' lives. You know what I mean?
That's why people like Daniel Bryan and John Cena and Sami Zayn would not go to those places.
Well, Sami Zayn's actually not allowed to go.
Well, yeah.
Sammy's Syrian and Canadian, and Saudis hate Syrian people. So Sammy wouldn't even ever be allowed to wrestle on the card. It's why we've never seen Kevin Owens go over, because Sammy can't go over. Kevin refuses.
Yeah. And Daniel Bryan and John Cena, when they did Crown Jewel 2018, remember Daniel Bryan was supposed to be in a WWE Championship match.
Yep.
At Crown Jewel, and then they replaced him with Samoa Joe. John Cena was supposed to be in the World Cup, but he didn't want to, so I think they replaced him with Jeff Hardy.
And I can't blame them. And I'm glad, because even though the talent, they were held basically kind of hostage overnight, and not allowed to leave. Because of Daniel Bryan staying back, we had Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole on an episode of SmackDown.
It was a good match, though, not going to lie.
And actually, because of that, that was how they made NXT invade WWE, and it was right at the right time for Survivor Series.
Oh, yes, sir. And one of my favorite Survivor Series of all time.
Mine too.
And Keith Lee, man, was the star of this show. Gets Roman's respect after the match, even though he lost. Then come the Royal Rumble when Keith Lee's in that one. I think it's the 2020. He's against Lesnar. And as Keith Lee's coming to the ring, you see Lesnar, a big boy, and he's excited.
He was like that with Omos this week. He was like, big boy.
Yep, and he's getting excited, and they go out there and have a great little battle. And I'm just like, bro, why was Keith Lee never the WWE champion? This time, NXT could have really been seen as the third brand instead of developmental.
Yeah.
I agree.
But, it's Vince McMahon, man. If you ever wonder why, it usually goes back to Vince.
Always Vince, man. But
well, except I'm gonna say this: except Damage Control and Bailey losing a lot, that's been game booking.
That's a hunter.
That's horrible, though.
But getting back to the card though, because I don't want to get too far off before I forget about it. See, after the Money in the Bank was
Batista versus Umaga,
and this was. And this was like a Raw superstar versus a SmackDown superstar.
Umaga was Raw, Batista was SmackDown.
And now, and as we were just talking about Survivor Series, isn't this a Survivor Series kind of deal?
Yeah, it should have been. The reason freaking it happened was because Vicky put out, or no, Regal put out Umaga to challenge anyone, and that's when the SmackDown episode, Vicky Guerrero was the GM, and she's like, I'll have a SmackDown star fight him, and that's when Batista walks in the locker room saying, I'll take him, and that's how it all began.
Oh, okay. And I mean, I guess that makes a little more sense. But yeah, when I'm looking at this at face value, because I had kind of forgot the backstory to it, I was just like, the fuck? I was watching it today. The shit didn't make no fucking sense to me. I was like, why the fuck am I watching this?
I forgot what I was doing, but I went back in there and I saw Umaga and Batista in the middle of the ring, and I was like, what the fuck? What's going on?
It was a good match, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like Batista doing the Batista bomb, loved it, bro.
He almost fell in that Batista bomb.
Yeah, no, I seen that. He was like, ooh.
What? Yeah, Umaga's almost what, 400? Yeah, 380 at that time, 400.
He's like 370, 380. Yeah.
So it's like, I know Batista's a strong fucking dude, but 380, goddamn. And he's deadlifting them kind of, and then
slam that dude. 1, 2,
3.
Hey,
brothers, what's going on,
what up, Jordan?
How you doing?
What's good?
Hey, Billy. And happy Sunday, bro. And I'm finally here. I was at the gas station. Oh, you're all
good, man. Thanks for being here.
For some WrestleMania 24.
All that matters is that you're here.
Absolutely. And fucking getting into Umaga and Batista. Not the longest match on the card, probably about 10 minutes. But fucking, I thought it kicked ass. And I really thought, like, if you go, especially 2007 Umaga, he should have won this match. He should have really been built up as a main eventer. But fucking Batista going over. Not a lot of highlights in this one. Big ass Batista bomb. Almost collapses on it. 1, 2, 3.
The animal wins. I just loved when he did that.
Oh, bro. I always thought, like, you're going to... how close you are to the fucking fireworks when he would do it, I always thought he was going to burn himself.
For real?
Yeah.
And fucking... shit.
Next, we had Kane versus Chavo. That was 8 seconds. Not much to talk about this. Choke slam, 1, 2, 3. New ECW champion. That's it.
Chavo was in the ring, got a nice little entrance, and then Kane's music hit. Chavo was looking at the ramp like, come on, motherfucker.
Where you at?
Where you at, man? And Kane's right behind him. Choke slam. Rings the fucking bell, too, dick ref. And then,
I always thought that this was really fucked up in WWE. So, all right. I'm going to try to put this in a way that doesn't come off the wrong way. WWE kind of milked the cow, so to speak, when it came to Eddie passing, when he did at the time, for Ray to become the champion. The only reason Ray became the champion was because of Eddie passing away.
Ray winning the Rumble, too.
Yeah. Now, mind you, though, that this is Chavo's real-life uncle. And he would call his brother, you know what I mean? And Chavo should have been the guy, like, being booked. And I understand, like, Ray's more popular with the fans. But this is family, you know what I mean? Like, I get you're supporting his best friend and all. But Chavo's family. And if you're not going to have him in the main event as the world champion, fine. But you could at least have him in a good Intercontinental U.S. title field. Make him feel important because he's a great wrestler. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But for some fucking reason, like, I always thought they did Chavo dirty, but they would always talk about the Eddie situation a lot in stories. And even going forward with Batista Ray, Randy Orton Ray, Dominic Ray, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I get, like, like Ray and Eddie were close, but this is his real family, bro. If you really wanted to make Eddie proud, do something for Chavo.
I agree, 100.
I feel like Chavo should have been the guy, at least a mid-card champion, or at least a Money in the Bank winner that maybe fails to cash in. If you don't want him to be world champion that much, fine. But an ECW champion that loses in like 2 seconds at WrestleMania is not the way to go.
Oh, absolutely, because I thought that was terrible. And WrestleMania 24 was great.
I totally agree.
Fucking great, yeah.
And John Cena, Randy Orton, and Triple H in the triple threat match. Did not give a fuck about this match. Just gonna be honest.
What?
This match was awesome, bro.
When I knew this was gonna be on the card, I was like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna be great."
So watching this at the time, man,
We're skipping the card at this point.
This was the one match I might say like it was good, but it could have been better. And I felt the same way with Triple H versus Randy the next year at WrestleMania. It was good, could have been better. All right.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You know, and I really just thought like it's because like in 2008, Randy Orton, the feud just should have been Triple H Randy Orton. That's what it really called for. With the breaking into the house and fucking kissing Stephanie while Triple H is chained up, fucking you know, beating up Vince, beating up Shane. Like, and I get Cena won the Rumble, and that's why he was in the match. And,
yeah.
But here's another thing about that Rumble. If Cena had not returned at that show, CM Punk would have won that Rumble. He was actually being booked too.
That's crazy.
Jesus Christ. That's probably why they had him win Money in the Bank to make up for it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly why. And fucking, so Cena coming back took that from him. And then who would know that years later, Cena versus Punk would be one of their best stories. Long-term book.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, it was a good match. You know, my favorite fucking part. So Randy has got the double DDT on fucking Triple H and Cena. DDTs them both. Fucking RKO and the shit. I think Cena on the outside. Like, fucking, it really kicked ass as far as that. I thought Randy was the star of the match.
I thought it was a shocking finish. I think it was Hunter had a crossface on Cena, or maybe it was the other way around. And Orton punts, I think it was Cena. No, punts Hunter.
Yep, punts Hunter.
Triple H. And won. I thought that was fucking... I thought that was great.
I mean, I always thought, like, you know, how they always made the punt seem so vicious, you know what I mean? Like, it took out Shane for weeks. It took out Vince for weeks. And fucking CM Punk at a time when they would have a feud leading into 27. You know, I always thought they did the punt really well. Even though, to me, it's not as beautiful looking as the RKO. It's always looked devastating because of the way they booked it.
Yeah, Triple H actually pedigrees John Cena, and he goes for the cover.
That's
when Randy sneaks in, punts him in the face or in the head, and then pins Cena. 1, 2, 3, and walks out champion. Hold on.
That's right. I thought it was during the crossface spot. I knew there was a pedigree around there somewhere. There's
my title.
And you know what's crazy? This would be the last time that Randy used Burn in My Light at WrestleMania.
I noticed that. Like, I thought he used voices around, you know, that
he
time.
did. So it was about middle of 2008, leading into the fall time, going into 2009, that Randy would switch to voices. So they actually put it just in time for that theme song to be on SmackDown versus Raw 2009 at the time. But but early 2008, he was still using Burn in My Light. And then like around the same time he went to voices, he went and got all the tattoos as well. And so 2009, that's the Randy Orton we all came to know and love.
I love that time, though, bro. But are you guys ready to talk about the most emotional match of the entire night?
Oh, my favorite match of the entire night. Shawn Michaels versus the Nature Boy, Ric Flair in his retirement match.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, don't get me started on the fact that this wasn't his retirement match. But I think for story-wise, and especially the promo package before the match, it was fucking great. You know, he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He wanted Shawn. Vince even said, "Hey, your next match, guess what? You lose, it's over."
Yep.
So Ric Flair's like, "Hey, if this is going to be my last match, I want it to be against Shawn Michaels." And the entrances were great. The in-ring psychology, fucking amazing. And yeah, I fucking loved this match. Definitely match of the night. And the fact that Ric Flair was like, what, 50, late 50s?
Yeah.
And was going at the rate.
Early 60s.
Yeah, and was going at the rate that he was. Fucking great.
Legend,
Gotta
man.
give kudos.
I don't know how much of Rick's backstory you know, but he was in a plane crash in the 70s. Broke his back, all right? Came back in the 80s, reinvented himself to become the Nature Boy and become one of the greatest wrestlers of all time when he was told he'd never wrestle again.
Yeah.
And then fucking would dominate 80s and the 90s. Now, in the late 90s, in WCW, the bookers at that time had really started fucking with Rick's booking. And Ric Flair's one of them real old school guys where being the champion means you're the man. Being in the main event means you're the man. And fucking to him, when he was no longer the man and they're booking Sting and Goldbergs and stuff like that, he just felt like he was washed up and about on the end of his career. And then they had him lose his hair and he just about lost his shit. So when he goes to the WWE in 2002, he has a match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 18. And this is one that we had talked about in the 18 review, but if you go back and watch it, Ric Flair is being tossed out of the ring by The Undertaker. He fucks it up. And then The Undertaker brings him back into the ring and he whispers something to him. And what he said was, "Hey, kid, do you think you can do it again?" And then he goes and slings him over, and Rick gets it this time. And he said that moment was the moment that he believed he could do it again because mentally, right, he wasn't there, even though physically he felt like he could. And that's the biggest thing about Ric Flair, I've realized. It's not how great a shape he was in, because let's be honest, he wasn't the most impressive in his late age. But it's the heart. It's your mind saying, I can do this. I'm the greatest pro wrestler of all time. And Shawn Michaels had grew up Flair. And that was his idol. That was the reason he wanted to be a wrestler. And so this was a love letter to Ric Flair, and this was a love letter to the WWE as far as Shawn goes. And when you go back and watch this, like, yeah, Shawn carries most of the match and makes Rick look good, but even Rick holding his own and the cheerful moments, right, when he's chopping him and stuff like that. And even though Shawn has him beat at times, Rick's crying. He's trying to hold himself up still. And it's those little tear jerkers. You see 30-year-old men crying in the crowd. And then you get to that part where, just like old Yeller, he had to be put down. And it's, "I'm sorry. I love you." And then sweet chin music's him, kicks him in the face. 1, 2, 3. Grabs him by the head, kisses him, and he whispers, tells him, "I love you and thank you for the match." And that whole fucking place just stands up crying.
Erupts. One of possibly the greatest retirement match in wrestling history.
And I know
I cried my eyes out. I did.
And I know Rick loves this business, but that would have been my retirement match. I would have just stayed done. You know what I mean?
That's a retirement match.
Charlotte was in the building. That's another thing.
That's a retirement match that everyone would dream to have. WrestleMania, one of the best today, or at that day. And, you know, you get a huge spotlight on you. And, you know, yeah, I get it. Rick loves the business. He wanted that one last hurrah last year. But it's like, dude, you had the best retirement match of all time, still the best retirement match of all time.
Yes, sir.
Like, why would anyone want to go and fuck that up?
And see, that's what I don't know. You know, like, be honest with you, I thought the same with Sean. Like, look, I said it before we went on. Sean's one of my all-time favorites of all time. The reason I fell in love with this business. But when Sean returned bald in 2018 to
Yeah.
face DX, he was the best. Now, this is the craziest part. Even though Kane had wrestled a little bit at this time, Taker once a year, Triple H a little bit here and there, Sean was the best wrestler in that match, which fucking amazes me because he hadn't wrestled in 8 years. But fucking, it was just too much of a flop fest for it to go out and be remembered. So to me, WrestleMania 26 is still the real retirement match.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's actually kind of weird to think about. Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, two people who retired at WrestleMania, came out of retirement for shitty bag, shitty money.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. And I think, with Rick, I don't know if y'all seen that retirement match. He almost collapsed and was out of breath by the time the match was done. And this is a guy who in 2019 was on his deathbed.
I think he said that he collapsed or almost did twice during the whole match.
Yes.
Andrade was in the ring with him, and he was scared out of his mind.
Well, that's his father-in-law. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
It was one of the...
Never watched it.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen, I'm going to be honest with you.
I never watched it. I've seen screenshots, and I looked at, like, his shape. Like, he had a dad bod. His face was all bloodied up. I was like, God fucking damn it, dude. You're going to die.
Yes, and he almost did. And which, I mean, that's better than what he had been because, we know about Ric Flair's heavy drinking after his son died and him feeling guilty about it. Stuff like that, And he had been going through it, but in return, he put his body out of shape. And then almost dying in 2019 doesn't help. So it's like really after that kind of a health scare, you shouldn't wrestle at all. But then 3 years later, he's going out and he's having his last match, in which I gotta give it this, if anything, Ric Flair's got fucking balls. He's almost died like 4, 5, 6 times over, and still loves this business so much that even though it might kill him, he will go out there and perform.
Yeah, but there's a time, man, when you gotta know it's up. Lace your boots and just go do your own stuff. You don't gotta be in the ring forever.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, think of your fucking family. Like we said, Andrade, Charlotte, whoever the fuck his wife is now. No one wants to see you die in the ring, even though anyone could be like, well, if I'm going to die, I want it to happen in the ring. Doesn't fucking matter,
Yeah, I would.
I'm sorry. I definitely would. And just understand that if anything ever happened to me, I died going out with what I love in the way I want to. And so for me, I can understand it because I'm going to explain to you this. I told you I've loved this business my entire life, but in the worst moments of my life, right, this business was there. When the shit hit the fan and nobody else was there, this business was there, you know what I mean? And this business has got my ass out of situations time and time again. I want to say it's what kept a level head on my shoulders. And at one point when I was younger, we'd go out and have trampoline matches. I think every kid did. My brother ended up throwing me off a ladder and I landed on the back of my neck. And I went through a trampoline and him and the ladder came falling on top of me. I had never done anything like that since. And still to this day, like my arm or my neck will jitter and shit like that, and seizures would follow. But I love this business so much that if you say, man, if you could go back, do it over, wouldn't change a thing. You know what I mean? I might be a little banged up and I might be depressed because that dream never came, man, right? Because he fucked up and got stupid. But I did what I loved. And to me, that was more important than anything. So Ric Flair collapsing in the ring, like, is it a bad decision when you have a family? By all means, yes. It's a selfish one, actually. but because of the love for this business, cannot blame him.
I don't blame him either. I just think he needs to watch his family more than caring about the business sometimes.
He needs to watch his age as well. Like, this match was fucking great, you know, but I think judging by what has happened recently, it kind of affected my viewing of it because this was my first time today. But if I was watching back in 2008, holy fuck, I'd probably cry my eyes out.
Yep. And
I don't know how you don't, honestly.
Man,
it's so emotional.
Joe, you were in the crowd. You seen it, man. Grown-ass men crying. I
was with them, bro. I was literally like, we had a whole, like, I didn't know them, but when you're a wrestling fan, you kind of do know them in a way.
Yeah.
So I was just around, like, a bunch of dudes, and they're all, like, they told me they're all in their 20s, bro, and they're all literally just tearing up, hugging each other, and I was like, you know what, let me get in on this. So I hugged a bunch of strangers, started crying, 8 years old, didn't know much about it, but I knew I loved the business.
It's fucking great.
I knew it was something.
And, man, that's all you need to know is that you love this. Because I think, you know, you look at the fans, right, that wrestling grabs. You don't need to speak the same language to speak wrestling. You know what I mean? It speaks from here. That's where the language is.
I agree.
How's everything going with you, bros? Pretty good. How about you, buddy?
It's been a good day. Can't complain. I'm alive.
Yeah.
You
pretty good.
It's good. And bros, we need Money in the Bank back in WrestleMania again. No more pay-per-view of Money in the Bank because it's more better.
Yeah.
Keep saying it, Jordan, because I've been saying this forever. Bring it back to WrestleMania, not the stupid Money in the Bank normal pay-per-view. I'm not gonna hate on it. It's good, but I want my old back compared to now.
That WrestleMania showcase, whatever the fuck they're doing this year, I said they should have replaced it with the Money in the Bank.
Yes.
But since they're doing the pay-per-view in the UK, we're results into this men's and women's fatal 4-way tag team shit, and it's like,
that's fucking stupid.
What's the point of it? Bragging rights? Like, I don't get it. It's like the Andre Battle Royal, where it's like you don't get a title shot.
And see, that's what I would have done. Like, you win, you're next in line at a title.
Yeah.
But this match has no meaning. It's probably a match that, to be honest, we're probably going to skip over. And, you know, I wanted John Cena to win that match, bros, of WrestleMania 24, being honest.
I like this match, bro.
I remember before the match, they had a poll, and they said, who do you think will win, or who do you want to win? And like 80-some% said John Cena, and all the rest said Randy Orton and Triple H. Everyone wanted Cena.
Man, that's because Cena had just come off an injury at the Rumble, and you know, he was on that momentum swing. It wasn't quite 2011, 2012, 2013 yet, you know, so people still cared for Cena, even though he had his distractors. It wasn't as many as that would come. And bros, we need money.
We read it.
Whoops. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair was a great match. Promos, legends versus legends. Reminds me of Sting versus Ric Flair, the last episode of WCW Nitro in 2001. And see that?
Yeah, I've never seen that match.
It's
to be honest.
Never seen it.
So you have to go back though before you watch that match. And look, this is why my business, my love of wrestling shouldn't go back as far as it does. But fucking go back and watch Surfer Sting before he ever became Pro Sting that we know today. Go watch Surfer Sting versus Ric Flair. When he was a young upcoming guy, Ric Flair was the man, WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and then Sting would put him over for his first world title. Rick would put Sting over for his first world title. And then fucking on the last episode of Nitro, it would be one of Rick and Sting's greatest rivalries came to fruition. It would be one of WCW's greatest rivalries came to fruition. So I thought that was a great thing that they actually did with that.
God bless Ric Flair that they allowed him to live after the plane crash, because God bless him to live longer and to hear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just God bless he stays out of the ring.
Yeah, I
Please.
agree. Because I don't want the man to die, but I don't think he needs to be in the ring ever. I mean, ever again. No disrespect.
I agree.
And let's see, and I have known Ric Flair since 1998 in WCW, and I had his action figure too. The good old days. I was hyped when he came back in WWF.
He won that Royal Rumble, won the world title.
So. Yes, sir. His first night back, and it was such a shock that he would be there. I think he actually didn't he come to WWF with the WCW World Heavyweight Title?
I don't know, to be honest, bro.
No
I'm
clue.
I didn't watch much as back then. Like, I know from 2002 to now, like, if I'm being honest.
Oh, man, I can look, if you want to go back, we can talk all the way back to Bruno Sammartino versus Pedro Morales.
I would have no fucking clue. All I know is that Bruno
Sammartino
has this like 13-year reign, and it's like people are like, I want Roman Reigns to have that Bruno Sammartino reign. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't want anything close to that.
So, yeah, Bruno Sammartino is the longest WWE champion of all time. Because when he wrestled for Vince McMahon Sr. in the 70s, he was wrestling was still a shoot. It was not quite a work as it is now. And to where the only way you were winning that title is if you were legitimate enough to beat me. And
actually, should I say, the longest WWE champion of all time is the fabulous Moolah as a women's champion for over 30 years.
That's true. She never lost the title because WWE retired the title until they brought it back, and then it was on a whole new division. So technically, yeah, she was still undefeated for that title.
Yeah.
Are you hitting a vape or something, Joe?
Nope. That looks like a blunt or something.
It's a joint.
Joint.
Hell yeah, bro.
Or not a joint, a blunt. Or, yeah, a joint, whatever.
I got a bowl right here, bro. Shit. You could have said you were smoking, bro.
I got nothing.
Do you smoke?
My sister's boyfriend's in the room, so he handed me a joint.
Sick.
Sure, you smoke, Willie?
What?
Huh?
Yeah.
Do you smoke, Willie?
Weed, no.
Okay. Because I already know, but so this is one of our besides wrestling, this is the other part of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
I will smoke for you, but
didn't know it was a requirement.
Oh no, it's not required. It's optional. I just always want to know if more like we have bigger audience of wrestling fans and wrestlers that smoke because like 2006, RVD WWE ECW champion, he gets suspended for weed. Wrestling. And then he would be forced to drop both titles before being outed in WWE less than a year later. And Rob Van Dam never mounted to more success in the WWE because of this. But this is, to me, a medicine, man, that has stopped my seizures. I used to be on medications a day for various mental health reasons and stuff. And now I'm on none at the age of 22. For JoJo, it's with his Tourette's and stuff as well. And, so many others, they got many benefits from it. So when I see, with the wrestling industry, you look at stats for athletes. Wrestlers are more likely to die before the age of 40 in professional wrestling than any other sport. And it's because they were on pills, roids, drinking, and fucking, that's how we losing Brian Pillman Jr. Eddie, his enlarged heart was due from the pills and stuff. I even think as much as we know about how cannabis, as much as we know about how cannabis helps now with the brain and stuff, I think had we known what we know now, the Chris situation may have been different. Because with CTE, you can't detect it till they're already dead. But with the history of concussions and stuff like that, and we know its effects on the brain, that, can cause you to go crazy. That can cause seizures. That can cause a lot of things depending on which part of the brain gets the most impacted. And so I'm wondering what that would have helped him in his particular case. So with that, one of the things on this podcast that I've always wanted to do since day one was introduce the cannabis world to the pro wrestling world and have those two kind of merge together. Because I really do think in this kind of business, like I said, with the statistic being wrestlers are more likely to die before the age of 40 than any other athlete on the planet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think that cannabis could actually be a big help.
I believe so as well, man.
Yeah, I don't blame it. And, yeah, I'm a believer of weed, even though I don't smoke it. It's just my tolerance level. I just don't do it. So.
Oh, yeah. It took me a long time.
It took a lot out of me when I did try it. Less than a year ago. Holy fuck.
Your first time is the worst. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my first time, so this is all I remember, and then I'll tell you what actually happened after. So I'm smoking with my brother at our friend's house out of a steamroller. And a steamroller is like this long ass bamboo pipe, and there's a bowl on it. And you got to block the one end with your hand, and then the other's on your mouth. You got the bowl here. Well, my brother could clear the pipe, and I didn't want to look like a chump, so I was like, I can clear it too. Well, I cleared that motherfucker, and next thing you know, you hear and fucking about 20 minutes later, I'm staring across this island, looking at him, smiling, and I don't know why. I just cannot stop smiling. And then I remember I blanked out. And next thing I know, I'm waking up in my bed the next day in my room. Now, in the meantime of this, it turns out that I drank a gallon of this man's sweet tea. I nearly fell down the steps walking to the car. I started talking to myself in the car. Then I passed out, and my brother had to carry me in the house and tuck me in.
I'm sorry, man. I would laugh my ass off if I was around my friend and he did that. He fell down the stairs high as shit. I would be dying. I would say, "Are you okay?" But then I would be like,
"Yep." Now, so and that was the first time. That was just terrible, man. I couldn't control the effects as much as I can now. But ever since I started going every day, because last January I had failed a seizure test. And then, but in March, I took my second seizure test, and I passed. And the doctor looked at me, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And then I said, "Well, since I failed my last one, I started smoking every day because I've seen that in other states where it's legalized, the effects on the brain and how it can help with seizures." I said I went from having 3 episodes to 2, then to 1, and now to none at all. And she goes, "I want to use you as a medical testimony." She goes, "Your brain should not be as healthy as it is, because of where we were before. And before there was a lot of messed up tissue, internal bleeding, and stuff like that." And she said, "Now my brain was healthier than a child who has never took a fall in their life." And she goes, "You are in a really, really great shape with your head." And so she goes, "I want you to keep doing this." So every day since, for the last year and couple months, I've been smoking every day. And after about 6 months, I can now have a better tolerance to where I can work and I can do what I got to and, be high as shit. But it took me a long time to get there. It's not like you just get there overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Makes sense.
Let's see. And getting back to WrestleMania before we get into some more about Ric Flair. I think it was Edge versus Taker.
Yeah, because honestly, I skipped
that was
Mayweather.
The main event. Wait, what was after Shawn and Rick? Oh, it was the Playboy.
Yeah, I skipped.
Then it was
we already
Cena.
Talked about Cena and Orton. Yeah, so
Mayweather versus Big Show. Does anybody here care about this match? Because I didn't.
No, I think it went a little too long for my liking.
Same. If it would have been about 5 minutes, I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it really wasn't nothing special to me. So we'll just talk about Taker and Edge because that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I really enjoyed the main event, and this is one where you could have told me Edge could have went over. I think like Edge, while he was already solidified as a main eventer, it would have just added more. The story going in where Edge is now with Vicky. He's dating her just to have power on the roster, and then fucking beating the shit out of Taker. Time and time again with the Edge heads. Fucking being and choke slam through the ring off a ladder in a TLC match. No, it was at a Hell in a Cell match, but it had a ladder inside the fucking ring, and he got choke slammed off. Names came up. So like they had brought each other to hell a lot in this feud, and then it all culminated here was really great. A little bit of a lengthy match, about 20, 25 minutes, but fucking a lot of great back and forth. Edge, I think hit Spear fucking twice. When he hit it the first time, it was 1, 2, fucking kick out.
He
and I was like, what? And fucking then the Edge heads coming out from under the ring, fucking getting involved.
Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins.
Woo. We got chokeslam, bro.
And then
literally, bro. Ryder, boom, chokeslam the freaking Mars with when Undertaker chokeslams both. I think he did it to Ryder, but he got Hawkins too.
Oh yeah, he got Hawkins a little higher up in the air.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, like, boom.
Yep, shit fucking kicked ass on that, and fucking Edge would go for it again. Nothing, miss, fucking tombstone. 1, 2, 3, new world champion.
And the place blew up, bro. Think about this. The place blew up, and I left before. I left like 10 minutes before it all blew up.
Did you?
Yeah.
There was a firework. Oh, wait, where did we go? Oh. Willie, you there? Willie? It says he's in, but then he's not there.
Maybe his thing died or something?
Huh. Yeah, oh, okay, he said, yeah, okay. He's still here. All right, and see, and I agree with you, bros. Ric Flair needs to stay retired.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Stay retired. Start that chant. Stay retired.
All right, so I'm getting a report from the anonymous One Shot Killers general manager. Can I have your attention, please? Willie said he's still here. Give him a second. And see, no, bros. Booker T was the WCW champion. He joined WWF. Ric Flair came back to WWF as general manager.
For that, for all I know. Smoke.
Yes, sir. I ain't even hit this bong yet. So here we go.
I'll read the comments while you do that.
All right.
Bros, I don't smoke, but I smoke fast foods. Hell yeah, I eat fast foods.
Yeah, bro. Same. See, look. I don't know how you can smoke the food, but I promise you, when you smoke and you eat, ooh,
best combination, bro. For real.
Best combination.
Brandon, your story of the first time smoking. Oh snap! Be careful. For real, good brother. Don't fall downstairs again.
Oh yeah, man. You gotta be careful with that. Like I said, for you beginners out there, the first smoke is always the worst, and then after that, promise you, it gets better.
Especially wax. My first time, bro, I was doing angels outside.
Wait,
I'm not even joking. You think I'm joking? I'm not.
Wait, actual snow angels?
Yes, like doing this in grass. You think I'm joking? I'm not, bro. I wish I had a videotape on me. Like,
so, fucking, for people who don't know, wax is pure concentrated THC. It's the highest form of THC you can consume besides edibles. And, like, joints and bowls won't nearly do to you what wax and edibles would do. And so, Joe, you dancing with your snow angels, nowhere am I surprised in this.
Me either.
And let's see. Brandon, your story. Oh wait, yeah, I read that. Whoops. And let's see. First time Edge lost was WrestleMania 24.
Yeah, because he lost at 23. Well, he didn't lose, but he lost the ladder match, so I guess that doesn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's not pinfall or submission.
22 he won, 21 he won, 20 he wasn't on, 19 I think he won.
Look, brother, do you see our logo on the watch?
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Yes, sir. That means it's smoking.
Wow, that's awesome, JoJo. You was at WrestleMania 24. That's a lifetime mania. Yeah, man. One of my favorites. Not just because I was there. Just one of my favorites, honestly. Where's Willie? He's still here somewhere. He's like John Cena. You can't see him. I had to say that. Imagine old school Ric Flair versus 2013 Daniel Bryan, or old school Ric Flair versus MJF would be crazy. I'll take either of those.
I would hate it.
Willie. And see, Ric Flair versus Daniel Bryan, like old school Rick. If we got 80s Ric Flair versus 2013 Daniel Bryan, that would be a classic. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I saw old school Rick. I was thinking modern day. I'd be like, no, I hate it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be old school Rick. Now, Rick versus MJF, they're both great heels. Rick's a terrible babyface. MJF, I don't ever want to see as a babyface.
Yeah,
so, this I would actually pair them together because in some kind of alliance, the promos they could have as being the two biggest pieces of shit on the planet would actually be better to me than them facing each other.
I agree on that for sure.
I think Rick as a manager for MJF would be great.
I would like that. I would actually really
Instead
like
of Regal, have it be Rick. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I would love that. And smoking and food, great.
Yeah.
That's
That's the best stoner, man. I'm telling you. Just
Look,
love food.
You know, maybe
Smoking
there's
and coffee.
there's a reason why I'm like this. Fucking so when you eat, food becomes better after you smoke. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't, but food just tastes better.
I agree.
And you get more hungry, you could eat a lot more. I remember the one time I tried, we had a thing of wedges, and it was all gone in 2 minutes.
I don't blame it. I would eat it all too.
And my friends were like, what the fuck, man? And I was like, I'm sorry, I was hungry.
So that first time smoking, like, how was that whole experience, if you can recall it?
If I could recall it, okay, so I was over at a buddy's with my two other buddies, so there was like 4 of us. I had either a whole bowl of a bong, and at first I was like, meh, okay, you know. 20 minutes later, my friend's playing Rainbow Six Siege, and I start fucking dying laughing for no fucking reason. I was dying laughing. Then we go downstairs, and we got, I think it was chicken and wedges, or hot dogs and wedges. I ate all the wedges, and I ate like 3 fucking sausages, or hot dogs, whatever. And I swear I was still hungry afterwards. And then we went down to the basement where my friend had punching bags and boxing gloves, and we were doing some boxing workouts. And then I was dead.
You were trying to box him.
I was missing the bag, and then they told me to sit down. I said okay, and then I passed out in the basement floor, the cold floor. So my friends had to carry me upstairs, and they literally tucked me in on the couch. And I swear one of my friends filmed me. I'm going to have to fucking fight them for the video.
That to me.
They probably deleted it because this was like 2 years ago. But
that's funny.
So I will tell you this. Your friends, I don't know if that's all they had, but they should have thought about this a little more, because with a beginner, I should have never started with with a steamroller, you should have never started with a bong. I would have started with a joint or something because it's easier to handle, and it's not going to hit you as hard.
My second time was a joint, and I felt nothing.
I like joints.
Yeah, because joints are just supposed to be, you're not going to get like real baked like you would off a bong, but you're going to feel kind of, just a little more at ease, a little more chill than you normally would. And fucking
I'm gonna smoke some weed right now.
I would have started you off with that because it's more easier to handle, or I would have got you a dry pipe. Those are easier too.
This is my cool bong.
But what state do you live in by chance?
Ontario, Canada.
Canada. So weed's legal in the whole country. For us in the U.S., it's not so lucky. I'm only about a couple hours from you. I'm in Wisconsin. But weed's actually illegal here at the medical. So like these Delta 8, HHC, THC opens, they are put it to you this way. They can only have 0.3% THC. So what's seltzer to Jack Daniels, you know what I mean? Is Delta 8 to regular weed. I would have even started you with that instead of something so heavy.
Makes sense, yeah.
We got some rumors, though, if you guys want to talk about some.
Oh, yes, sir. So how about this? FTR saying that their contracts are coming up soon, and that in a few weeks, they can't talk about it now because of legal reasons, but in a few weeks, we could potentially see FTR leaving AEW. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know, since they came back at Revolution and they seem to be putting them in a tag team title feud. So either they're going to resign, or in one of their last matches with AEW, we'll probably see them lose to the Guns. I don't know.
I don't think they're leaving, honestly. I think they're joking around with us, and they're gonna sign contracts and stay with AEW. If they do leave, the last time they were in WWE, they got treated like shit. Do I want to see that again? I just got a bad feeling.
FTR to me is one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I can talk your head wrestling all the way to back in the day. I will say something that might be controversial to some, but to me, FTR is better than the Hearts. All right, and I think in WWE they will never be used to their fullest potential because the WWE does not give a fuck about the tag team division.
Look at Gallows and Anderson.
Exactly. They just
where they at?
They just had one of their greatest runs in Impact and New Japan to now coming back to WWE to not do shit. Ever since AJ went on the sidelines, they're back to not doing shit, and it's like, what the fuck? That's the same reason you left. So if I'm FTR, I'm looking at that. I'm paying attention to that. You know what I mean? And I think that I would say AEW needs to have a draft, because right now on Ring of Honor, if you have a Star Club, AEW talent's on there. It's kind of like Dark, but with Ring of Honor talent. And I would, if you're serious about Ring of Honor, you're all good, brother. If you're serious about this Ring of Honor thing, I would split the rosters. I would have AEW and Ring of Honor feel like two separate companies, and if you don't have anything for them in the AEW tag team division, I would put them in Ring of Honor and have them go on top with that division, as we are having a Reach for the Sky ladder match at Supercard of Honor.
I agree with you on that.
Who was the last team to face the Briscoes?
FTR.
FTR.
Yep, and that's exactly why I would do it.
If for me, I would have Dynamite and Rampage have its own draft. Look at Rampage. I would have Rampage go up to 2 hours. And then have a draft. You have half the roster on Dynamite, half the roster on Rampage. The reason for that is because Rampage is literally like Dark on TBS.
Yes. 100%.
You'll have, and I've been saying this for months, like Rampage has someone like Jon Moxley versus fucking God knows who that has like 50 followers on Twitter, or you'll have the Acclaimed versus like the Firm or something, like matches that we don't need to see.
Yes.
Whereas you put people like top talents in Rampage, you'll make it more special. Because think about it. Besides the first maybe one or two Rampages where Punk came back and Christian Cage and Kenny Omega had that TNA title match, what really happened on Rampage in its whole run?
Nothing. I watch it every week, bro, and I'm starting to get to the point where I don't want to review it. Like, I'm being honest. I just want to start with SmackDown and just end the night, because Rampage, to me, it's just not exciting as much.
I don't watch it and I don't review it. It's not worth me staying up until fucking 11 o'clock to just watch shitty wrestling.
And that's and that's how I've always felt about it. Because to me, Rampage is not exciting. Nothing really big happens. There's no reason for me as a fan to be invested into this show because it's not going to change the outcome of the story. That's why I don't watch Dark and Elevation. You know what I mean? And I started watching NXT around 2.0 because after the original NXT died, that shit just, it went to hell. And so when Rampage started to be a shit show, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, here soon, I'm only going to have Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, which is great, because I guess I don't need 7 nights a week anyways. But it's kind of like the fuck. And now I got to admit, I've seen the first 3 episodes of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. It's on the Play Store and iOS, $9.99 a month. I really enjoyed that shit. And it's a lot of wrestlers I've never seen before, and I think they could do a little bit of a better job at showing me these guys and why I should care about them. And
telling stories.
Exactly.
We just get wrestling, bro. I want my storytelling too. It's a PB&J, like you said, brother.
It's Tony Khan, I think his thing is like, okay, Triple H, it's more like the stories sell the matches. Whereas Tony Khan, the wrestling sells the matches. And there's nothing wrong with telling stories through matches. But if we're just getting big matches that a 12-year-old kid would put on its bucket list where we don't know why the fuck they're fighting, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
point proven.
This business to me has always been, and look, I get this whole internet wrestling community, people as fans, you're going to be divided on probably these 1-2 things. You're either a entertainment fan or you're a pro wrestling fan. And I say the two in this. The entertainment is more the gimmicks, the characters, the segments, promos, and storylines.
Yes.
But the wrestling fans, just simple as it is, pure good sports. Pure good sports, professional wrestling, just going out there, beating the shit out of each other, seeing who the best is. And to me, this business is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like Joe was saying. You got to have both. You can't just have one or the other. You don't get Jake without the snake. All right? And to me, it's just one of those things you got to have it. And I think, if WWE weren't such selfish dicks and always wanted it to be, about them, kind of like Apple, we would have great wrestling and great storylines. Because imagine a forbidden door of AEW versus WWE.
Bro, I want to book, oh my gosh, man. Roman versus Kenny Omega. That's a match I want to see.
And I honestly think this would be great for both companies. To me, WrestleMania should have always been like this. If WrestleMania is the peak of professional wrestling, it's the granddaddy of them all for pay-per-views, this is the card as a pro wrestler you want to be on. If that is the case, I'm taking the best professional wrestlers from every single company, and this is where they're going to face each other, right? That, to me, is how WrestleMania should be, because it shouldn't just be one company. We don't give benefits. We don't give insurance or 401k, and we don't support families if you die, because it's not one of those things where they have to. They're not employees. They're independent contractors. And on theory, an independent contractor is like a guy who installs ACs, for example. If I'm contracted to do this job for here for this many dates, I do it and then I go somewhere else. Fucking, that's an independent contractor. And because you make your money up front, that's why you don't get benefits. And fucking, but however, with the WWE, you can't work for nobody else. And when you come here, we're going to change everything about you that everybody knew about you. And you're going to be our bitch. And you cannot do Twitch. You cannot do outside media that we do not allow. And if you don't like it, fuck you. And,
well, really, they've kind of changed that now. Like Dakota Kai is on Twitch, and you know, we do all those. Well, up, down, down's always been Xavier Woods' thing. I think Johnny Gargano streams on Twitch now too. Like I think Triple H kind of changed that.
Oh, okay. Because I know Vince had it like this.
Vince fired Zelina Vega because she wanted to stream on Twitch.
Yep.
It's so stupid.
And he told them this: if you don't pay the WWE some of your money that you make off of Twitch, you can't use it. If you don't pay WWE for the money that you make off TikTok, you can't use it. That's how Vince had it set up. And which this is during the pandemic.
He's an asshole.
This is during the pandemic, right? And how do wrestlers make money? Off of tickets, shirts being sold at live events, and things like that, right? So it's kind of like, okay, if we're not having that, I'm losing a big percentage of my money. So what the fuck? You know, and when you're used to making a certain amount of money, right, you want to stay making that certain amount of money. So fucking, you're going to find outside ways to do it. And okay, in this business and at this time in the world, I can't go visit you. You can't go visit me. But I can hop online with you. I can do this with you. And you know what I mean? We can play some games. We can hang out. And that was, you know, the fans' time too with the wrestlers. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't go see them in attendance. They had to go watch them from a screen. So fucking, this to me was important to the fans. It was important to the wrestlers. And because, once again, you're not sharing your income, they don't want you to do it. Because Vince McMahon's like, oh, well, I make your name. You know, the reason you have fans as Paige is because of me. You know what I mean? And fucking, it's like, well, no, she was using her name Saraya. AJ Styles owns his name. Fucking, but they were told to take down their Twitch channels, which to me is just fucking insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's things like that, but I'm really hoping now with the WWE going forward, I'm glad they fixed the Twitch thing, but I want to see benefits for the pro wrestlers. I want to see their families taken care of if something happens. I want to see 401k, medical insurance, because it's a job. They're employees. If they were independent contractors and you truly meant that, then fine. But they're not. You treat them as employees and they're locked down to you. So you need to start paying them as employees.
I agree with you, man. Like, Vince is an asshole, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
For real. And now there's rumors he's back.
Yeah, it's... Why do you think we got Omos and Brock? I'm still telling you, bro. That match is booked because of Vince.
Yeah.
Triple H would not book that shit.
No, I think that Brock Lesnar and Vince sort of went a hunter and was like, I want this. Because Brock didn't want to work with Bray. The original plan was going to be Bray and Brock. I don't fucking know why they didn't want that. But then I think Vince was probably like, hey, what about this great idea? Brock Lesnar, Omos, WrestleMania. God. I don't fucking get it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There he is. Vince is here. There's Vince in the blue shirt.
So I don't know how I get that voice, but he was pretty spot on too. I got to give it to you. But yeah, you know, that's a Vince McMahon idea. You know what I mean? And fucking, I think like this, because if you heard the wrestlers for the run that Cena came back on, they were surprised he was there. They had not seen Vince in months. No one told them they were going to be there, that he was going to be there. I'm sorry. And fucking, it caught a lot of wrestlers off guard. That was reported by the boys in the back who were actually there. So this tells me Vince McMahon hasn't been there. But Vince McMahon is family to Triple H, so all he has to do is go to his house, call him, text him, something like that, and he could probably make an order happen.
Hey Hunter, it's me, the Vince McMahon. I wanna see Omos on WrestleMania.
It's me, damn it! It's your Pop. He goes, I want WrestleMania. I want to see two big beastie boys going at it. Damn it! Yeah.
Linda
That's
doesn't
his wet
satisfy
dream.
me anymore. Big sweaty men do. God damn it.
Oh my gosh.
God damn it.
When I was at
it's gonna be
Revolution,
some good shit.
when I was at Revolution 2022, there was a sign that said "Big Sweaty Men." And it was it was for the triple threat match that happened with or it wasn't a triple threat. It was when Wardlow,
Full Gear,
Powerhouse
Wardlow,
Hobbs,
Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe.
Keith Lee.
Samoa
Yep.
Joe.
I think it was Keith Lee.
No,
It was Joe.
It was
It
Joe.
was Joe. Full Gear. That's what you were.
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
about.
So they were face to face, and all I seen was a sign. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Big
And-
sweaty men.
Big sweaty men, big meaty men slapping me. Yeah. But
You got those flippy floppers, and you got those big sweaty men.
Big boy.
But you know,
I'd rather go see
I'm
flippy
not
floppers.
surprised if Vince booked this because look at how Vince McMahon's always booked talent. If you were a little guy like Brian, chances are you're not really going to go over, right? And if you were a guy like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, yeah, you got a chance. You know what I mean?
You're going
To the moon. I mean, fuck,
Camera grab.
even Mason Ryan was booked good for a little bit. And his job, like, bro, he's mid. And it's because Vince McMahon wants that big, meaty guy. And which I don't know if that's a fetish for him or what, but that's his thing, man. And so to me, I'm not surprised by this if he booked it, but he hasn't been there. He hasn't been to the arenas or to the Raw. But like I said, he is family. It's not that hard to get in contact with your family. And so I think if Vince really wanted to see that match, all he would have did is call up Hunter and make it happen.
And I agree. But there was another rumor that Randy Orton is possibly coming back neither at WrestleMania they're trying to do or the night after WrestleMania. For some reason, the night after, I don't know why. I'll do the night at WrestleMania, give the fans a moment.
But which match would
Have
you
Randy-
have him come back at, though?
Randy Orton versus Cody. I know Randy wouldn't win, but I think like this. You need the way Legacy ended. If you go back and watch it from 2010, was dog shit. Cody and DiBiase Jr. should have went over. They should have went on to have better careers. They did not. Ted DiBiase Jr. would be out in the company a little bit later. Cody would become Stardust. It was just god awful.
Yeah.
And I would say that to kind of right a major wrong from WrestleMania 26 is to have Cody versus Randy, American Nightmare versus the Viper, WWE Universal Championship.
I would like that, actually.
That'd be a good first feud for Cody's new title run.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you guys hear? Did you hear about the Universal title that Triple H doesn't like it?
Yeah,
he doesn't want it.
He wants to split the titles.
See, that's at least someone's listening to us.
Fucking Christ. They need to split it, man. I don't get it.
I don't it was cool for a while, you know what I mean? It was cool for a while, all the belts on the bloodline. It looked pretty badass in an entrance. But it's like, after a while, you've done beat everybody. And who else is there? You know what I mean? Like, if he beats Cody at Mania, like some fans are predicting, who else is there?
Rollins. That's really it.
I would be happy, but I really think Cody needs this moment.
He does.
Honestly, more than Rollins.
I see people say, like, Jey Uso is going to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. They won't even bother.
Look,
honestly, bro, it would be a story-wise going. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, he had a story with it.
But what do you do after?
That's what I understand. That's what I still wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I get the storytelling with it, but I don't want to see that.
I agree. Yeah. With the whole Sammy Roman thing, the main character was Jay. You may say the main character was Sammy. It wasn't. The main character was Jay.
That's what I said. Yeah, it was fucking Jay the whole time.
He hated Sammy. He came to fall in love with Sammy and treated him like family. When he sees Sammy hit Roman, Jay is shocked. He doesn't know what to do. And you see him leave as they're all beating down Sammy. This whole thing has been about Jay. So I agree. You could have Jay Uso win the title. And that's great for the story. It's really great, actually. But what do you do after?
Lose when Roman wins it back? I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. That's why I wouldn't do it. I would just, I don't know. Like I said,
really just Cody, and then have Roman go on a big fucking vacation, split the titles in a draft, vacate one of the belts, like something like that. I don't fucking know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then the last rumor I'm going to get into, just because we're running on an hour and a half, is fucking, what was it? Damn it. Oh, yeah, LA Knight versus Bray. I know this one's been reported a little bit ago, and we've done talked about it, but Willie, what do you think of, I mean, not LA Knight versus Bray, LA Knight versus Stone Cold.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Like, what do I think of it?
Yeah.
I think it would be great. But, you know, at the same time, I don't know, because it will be obvious that Stone Cold goes over. Like, Stone Cold wins. And for me, I said it last night on stream. I said, LA Knight's supposed to be the future. Why the fuck is he losing in 2 minutes to Xavier Woods?
Thank you for saying it, good brother. I've been saying this too.
LA Knight, you know, is the guy who I want to win Money in the Bank. The guy who I want to cash in on Cody, Roman, anyone, to become the new champion. You're like, okay, if Jay wins the Universal title, what happens after? LA Knight.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And, like, man, I'm going to follow you here. So just imagine, somehow, by the grace of God, LA Knight beats Stone Cold. And then that would put you in such a main event fucking spot, bro.
Yes.
Going into Money in the Bank, he would be the favorite to win. That's where I would have him win, and why.
Keep talking, good brother, because I love it.
That would be great, and that's the huge upside. Because if Austin wins, as good as Stone Cold is, as good as this match with Kevin Owens was last year, if Austin wins, what the fuck is LA Knight gonna do? Is it gonna pull the Austin theory? Is he gonna pull the Austin theory where it's like, well, you lost Money in the Bank, but guess what? Reinvent yourself, and then you'll get back to your level.
And see, this was the problem with CM Punk versus The Rock at the Royal Rumble, 2013 when it happened?
2013.
Was The Rock wins the title, but who's there the next week on Raw? Or the next night?
CM Punk.
Exactly. And this would be the same thing with Stone Cold. Sure, it's great for a moment. Fans are going to cheer. They're going to pop. But who's going to be there the next night?
LA Knight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you go back and watch the Ruthless Aggression era from 2002 to 2008, all right, it was always current guys. Like, you know, even though like Shawn was older, even though Taker had been around for a few decades, Flair, they were all every single week. There was no part-time, I show up every 6 months, every 3 months, every 2 months. No, you're there night in and night out. And fucking, no one felt like a fucking part-timer. Even Ric Flair. And fucking, so to see this now, a big reason why wrestling is hurt is because part-timers. You know what I mean? You need full-time guys as the champions, the guys going over, because those are the guys who are there night in, night out.
Yes, sir.
You want to know what a better LA Knight match would be? LA Knight versus Bobby Lashley.
Ooh.
Yes.
Bray,
just book it.
Bray is hurt. LA Knight has had issues with Bray as well. Have LA Knight come out against Bobby and be like, hey, listen, buddy, you wouldn't have even had a chance with Bray anyway. If I couldn't beat Bray, your ass wouldn't beat Bray. And have Bobby get mad about that.
See, now that's a great damn.
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
Yeah. Fucking, I really love that. And because exactly the reason all I know is that Bray, well, like Bray's a little bit on the chubby side. I don't know what would cause him to, physical. Because you know what I mean? Like,
I heard it was a finger injury.
Oh, finger injury?
He did hurt his hand, I heard.
Yeah.
I seen
a picture of like one of his fingers look like fucked up.
Okay, so he may have just like broke his hand or some shit with finger or whatnot.
Like he wouldn't be out for long, but he might miss WrestleMania, it seems, yeah.
Okay, so maybe, they kind of fucked up, you know what I mean? He's been back 6 months, really ain't done dick, and his Royal Rumble match was shit. Fucking, this time, when you bring him back, do what we wanted. I'm sorry, look, I know Bray wants to be different. He feels like they killed the Fiend, and I understand that. But what sold you the most money? Those $800 titles selling out. Those fucking subscription Firefly Funhouse boxes selling out. People wanting you on the game cover. The toys selling out. What did that was the Fiend. Just give us that character. You know what I mean?
As much as I would love that, I still want the original Bray Wyatt, and I know I'm not going to be able to get that back because unfortunately Luke Harper's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's my favorite.
I just want Bray to be Bray, I don't want the same shit, different week that we've been getting with these Uncle Howdy, a good promo here and there. Uncle Howdy comes out, cut to commercial, and then nothing's explained.
Exactly.
It's like those TV episodes, like where something's built up, but it's been built up for so long that you really don't care anymore. I don't care about Uncle Howdy anymore. I don't care about the whole history of Bray.
He still hasn't even been.
That was a good hit, man. I seen that.
As soon as I said I don't care about Uncle Howdy anymore, he fucking.
Bro, I couldn't help but laugh because it's true. Because there still hasn't even been a reveal for Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
And every time I think that we're going to get to know a little bit more about Uncle Howdy, like you said, they cut to commercial. There's never really no reason why.
Exactly, man. Like, he did Sister Abigail to freaking Bray. So was he a heel? And then the next week he's like, okay, I'm with him now. And I'm like, all right, you just lost me.
Yeah, and then the next week they're like watching TV backstage, and Uncle Howdy's accompanying Bray to the ring, and it's like, what?
What happened? What?
Dumbass booking. What?
Dumbass booking. Dumbass booking.
Yeah.
For real, man. Because old man Vinny McMahon's like, you know what, Bray? I fired your ass once, and I'll bury your ass now.
The fuck is Bray Wyatt doing on my TV screen?
Bro, you may not believe in Uncle Howdy, but Uncle Howdy still believes in you.
Well, then I'm still glad he believes in me, but I don't believe in him.
Yeah. Believe in me all you want, buddy. I don't believe in you.
Oh, shit. I don't see any more comments before this. Like, my screen blanked out, and all the comments disappeared, but that one was funny as hell.
I saw one that says, one towards me saying WWE needs me.
Shit, wait, what?
I saw a comment saying, great, Willie, WWE needs you. There's another that says, MJF versus LA Knight. That'd be decent.
Oh, and honestly, I just imagine the promos.
The promos would be great. The match, I don't know, but I would like that feud.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think it would be fun. You know what I mean? And I think LA Knight, even though he's a little bit older than most guys who come up at on the main roster at this time, I think he still has a lot to offer. You know what I mean? And I think just given the right story and the right guy to work with, LA Knight could be a major star.
I agree 100%, bro. 100%. Yeah.
LA Knight is the future, and I believe that. But they need to pull the trigger on him the right way.
Yes. And let's talk about this, though. Shinsuke Nakamura facing the great... Right. He faced the Great Muta in Japan. Well, it got one of the loudest fucking reactions Shinsuke Nakamura has had in years. And fucking... Then you think the WWE would want to do something with him, right? Nope. They would want to, I would say, market and make money off that kind of energy. No, he hasn't even been seen in the WWE since.
Put his ass on New Japan. Keep him there.
Please, like, bro.
If you're not going to do nothing there, keep him. I've watched his entrance video for that Pro Wrestling Noah show.
Uh-huh.
Where they brought the Rising Sun back, and the crowd loved it. And the commentators were losing their shit.
That's the match I'm talking about.
Keep Shinsuke there, and imagine if he goes back to New Japan, the matches he could have. He could be the IWGP champion again, Intercontinental champion over there, whatever. Even if you don't have him be a champion, because he's pretty far into his career. Lots of dream matches for Nakamura to have.
Oh, absolutely. And Willie, this comment's for you, buddy.
Bray Wyatt is so boring. It's enough. He needs a different character. Enough of creepy stuff. He needs to change. Even Undertaker changes his career. But he has had different characters, though. He had the Eater of Worlds. He had Husky Harris. He had Eater of Worlds. He had Firefly Funhouse. He had The Fiend. He has the current thing he has now, and he has Uncle Howdy. Not including the shitty Sister Abigail gimmick he had in 2017.
Oh, let's just forget that ever happened.
So he has had multiple character changes, but the thing is, they didn't know what to do with any of them, and they still fucking don't. And it's like, why did we bring him back? Because he sells a lot of merch.
Because they didn't want him to go to AEW.
He would have done nothing in AEW either. Let's admit it.
Let's be honest. Broken Matt Hardy, Baden, the House of Black, they all speak for themselves. Bray would have made it there. I think
they still didn't want him, though. They still didn't want him to go there.
I think Impact would have been really great for him, but Impact can't afford him. And so the problem with that is there's nowhere else for Bray to go, realistically. And that presents the one problem. But now Bray, if you just let him create, he's a storyteller. Just let him create the stories that he wants to tell, and I guarantee you'll get somewhere. But fucking WWE trying to write this shit will never come off as legit. It will never be what the fans really want out of it, and it's because they don't know what the fuck to do with him. All they know is he sells a merch, he makes money, we want him. And fucking, it's like, okay, well, you got to have more than that. You know what I mean? And fucking, that's the biggest thing about the WWE is they give him shitty gimmicks all the fucking time. Like, because he's a spooky character, instead of making him like the Undertaker, which I know there will never be a never, but it's just an example. Instead of doing like that, instead they go, oh, let's put you in a fucking night glow room laser tag fun fucking shit. And LA Knight
black match.
Yep, LA Knight will get one fucking punch, and then Uncle Howdy will do a dive and miss by a year.
Fucking kill himself.
So bad, explosion. Bro. That crap sucked. That crap was mid.
And look, if you watch it back, and fucking, if you see the Mountain Dew logo before the lights even go out on the canvas, I was like, this is about to be fucking dumb. And
I noticed that, and I was like, this is one big walking advertisement.
Yep, that's all it was. That's all it was.
And now I can't see Mountain Dew pitch black at my college the same. I'll see it, and I'll be like, "You fucking ruined it."
Yep. But hear this, because that made so much money off of advertisement, they want to go and do a cinnamon fucking toast crunch match. It's a thriller.
Fuck that.
Stupid
Are we gonna have Uncle Howdy dive into a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch?
This is what I was telling JoJo before the physical happened, was when it first came out in reports, I was like, okay, I will take a big ass swimming pool, fill it with milk and cinnamon toast crunch, and I would have a pool ladder, right? And fucking you have fucking and this is gonna sound like the most fucking Vince McMahon shit ever, but you have fucking Bobby Lashley dive off the fucking pool ladder onto Bray, and they wrestle inside the bowl of cereal, and fucking you have a Bray win by drowning Bobby in the milk, and fucking 1, 2, 3, right? And fucking Bray gets out the pool. He's doing his entrance, and as soon as Bray heads up the ramp, you just see Bobby floating in the milk.
Dude, no, that is so bad.
What the fuck?
That is so bad, bro.
Is it bad that I actually see that happening? Someone winning by drowning them in a fucking bowl of cinnamon toast crunch?
Yep, and then you hear Vince McMahon, if he sees this at home, he'll be like, yeah, damn it, yeah. Now that's some good shit. Yeah, hire his ass, damn it.
He'll make so much fucking money.
Oh my gosh.
But no, when I seen that in the reports, though, I almost cried. I was like, no, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, these people, man. Shake my head.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God. I believe Barney pinned Uncle Howdy.
What?
The fuck's what? Like the dinosaur?
Yeah.
No.
What?
Now, I'd have to be really high to imagine this one, but I think it could work.
I think I'd have to download Barney and Community Creations to even imagine that.
Exactly. You see Barney going like this, making his way to the ring, and Uncle Howdy's just standing there, and you see Barney like, hey, you creepy piece of shit, I'm going to whoop your fucking ass. And he comes down with a steel chair, starts bashing him.
Meanwhile, you have a bunch of kids eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch all around him.
Oh my gosh.
Until just like that one episode of Barney where he cussed out the kids and Barney got canceled. Fucking...
I need to find that fucking episode. I keep hearing about it.
Man, you need to go and see it. It's funny as hell. Fucking Barney just goes off on these fucking kids and tells them to shut the fuck up and shit. And this is what Barney pulled off the air. And just like Bobby Lashley, though, when he beat up Goldberg, son, he was like, fuck them kids.
Well, thank you, Bobby, for beating up Goldberg and his kid.
All right. And Barney in a Stone Cold vest. What? Stone Cold Barney. What? Come, stun your ass. What? Drink a beer. What? Sing with your kids. What?
Yeah.
Well, I just imagine this one. Barney is a dinosaur. What? And what?
I love you. What?
What? You love me. What?
What? We're a happy family.
What?
With a great big hug and a kiss from me, Stone Cold, to you.
What?
Bro?
Won't you say you love Stone Cold too?
What? Yeah. And then look, instead of passing the kids milk, he passes them beer, and then he's like, if you want to drink a beer, what old Stone Cold Barney, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're having a bad day, son. You're having a bad day, son. Pop open the Steve Weiser and shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Put on some NASCAR. There you go.
Watch an NASCAR and drink a beer.
Jeff Dunham. And I believe WWE going to mock WWE. Oh, wait, what?
WWE is going to mock WWE letting Kevin Owens
AEW?
Yeah, I think he means AEW. I think AEW is going to mock WWE by letting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the gold.
Bro,
and not letting Cody Rhodes win the gold? How is that fucking AEW?
I don't know. Cody Rhodes' whole run to this point has been a fuck you to AEW, honestly. Like, fuck. And I'll give you an example. When fucking Cody tore his tricep, he was actually advertised for the Money in the Bank that I believe was the next month. And there was an AEW show close to where they were advertising. And in the parking lot of that arena was this Money in the Bank fucking van that had Cody Rhodes on the fucking cover. And
I remember that.
it was just like a big fuck you, like he's ours now, you know. And I was just like, yep, they're really trolling right now. And it brought me back to a little bit, if you guys were watching before AEW, when the Elite took over Monday Night Raw in the parking lot.
Yeah, actually, I did see that.
It was on Being the Elite. It's their YouTube channel, and they used to do like little blogs and stuff like they do now. But even before AEW was a thing, working between Ring of Honor and New Japan, and there was an episode in 2014 where the Bullet Club had invaded Monday Night Raw, and they had this large audience gathering with them, chanting shit in the parking lot, and I'm thinking like, damn. If the Bullet Club had got into that fucking arena, like, that would have been fun.
For real, man.
And Barney versus Kane.
What? No thanks.
By God! Kane chokeslam Barney all the way to hell. He broke him in half.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All those original kids, they're old enough to drink by now. Hell yeah!
Come on,
go drink. We're all stone cold. He's gonna make beer's gonna make all your problems go away. What? Having a bad day? What? Can't stand your wife? What? Need something to go with dinner? What?
Oh my gosh.
I'm at WWE going to mock WWE fans, letting Kevin and Sammy win the golds, not letting Kevin and Sammy winning is not mocking the fans.
If anything, that's praising them. They want Kevin and Sammy to win the gold.
Yeah, man. Bro, you're going to hear that whole WrestleMania crowd go, ole, 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 ole.
They're going to pop hard. You obviously heard the pop when they hugged it out.
Yes.
On Friday.
Loved it.
Yes, sir.
Imagine the pop when they win the belts, because they are going to. It's obvious.
If they're not main eventing night one because of Rhea and Charlotte due to political issues, I would have them open the show. I would have the
yes.
No, man, this story belongs in the main event.
It belongs in the main event, but if it's not main eventing, have it open.
But
I don't want to
have Ripley open. Ripley versus Charlotte open the match.
That should open.
I don't want Charlotte opening either, but main eventing either. I'm sorry. I don't want her main eventing. But however, WWE's going to do it because political reasons, which is probably Charlotte. And because look, you know how backstage politics work if you're a fan. If somebody goes to the boss, they cry and complain their way until they get what they want. And I guarantee you probably something like that. Yeah. And or due to the fact that right now we're living in a universe where, I'm sorry, Joe, but women are now on the scene to main event and to be powerful authority figures.
Yeah.
And to please the whole entire United States, and not cancel, you're going to have the women in the main event. And so, to me, if they can't main event because this has to happen, I'm not saying I want Charlotte and Rhea to close, but if they're going to, the next best option is for Sammy, Kevin, and the Usos to open.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I still if the main event was with them, if they had a story to it, okay, but there's still just not a big story to me with Ripley and Charlotte.
They brawled and that's it. Okay.
Yeah, That's all I seen. Like, cool, I like the brawl, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not with the talking. Like, I like talking, but I need it to be good. The same with Asuka and freaking Belair. There's nothing going on. This is Asuka, man. Why are you dancing?
And like, bro,
I don't
if
get
Asuka
it either.
turns heel at Mania, look, if Asuka turns heel at Mania and stops the goofy shit and does a whole different character, guarantee you people will be fine. You know what I mean? They'll be fine. Fucking, but the best part of the Charlotte Rhea stories was when Dom was cutting the promo on Charlotte a few weeks ago on SmackDown. It was great. That was the best thing out of this whole fucking story.
After that, it just got lazy.
Yeah.
They do nothing with it.
But I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a badass match. And when Rhea wins the title, everybody's going to go, yay, hooray!
I'll be happy. I just wish they just had something more. But I'm going to be happy regardless when she wins the title.
Facts. And, but shit, I'm going to go ahead. I don't mean to abrupt, but I do got to close this off early just because I didn't know we were running on 2 hours. So with that said to everybody, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Willie, so much for joining us tonight, bro. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really hope we get to do this again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime.
Yes, sir. And peace out, and good night, everybody.
Later, brother.